Hello and welcome to Coffee with Carey. Today we're taking aim at some classic dating advice that everyone seems to swear by, but really, you can just ignore. You know, those nuggets of wisdom everyone from your best friend to your Aunt Gloria, they insist on sharing, like, always play hard to get, that's the way to get them to come back, or just be yourself. As a dating coach of many years, I'm giving you permission to toss out those outdated gems, and you'll be better off for it. So if you're ready to breathe a sigh of relief, stick around because that's what's on the agenda. Yeah, let's stick with hard to get. Play hard to get. It's a classic. Act aloof. Keep them guessing. Play the mysterious game of hard to get, they say. The idea here is that if you're not too available, they'll find you irresistible. But here's the thing. If you want a healthy, genuine connection, being purposely distant or unresponsive is just exhausting. It also attracts the wrong kind of attention. What actually works is to be genuinely interested, engaged, and willing to show up as yourself. Yeah, have your own life and let things unfold at a comfortable pace, but ditch the idea that playing hard to get is some kind of dating magic trick. If they're only interested in the chase, they're going to lose interest once you're real with them anyway. What was that second one I mentioned? Oh yeah, just be yourself. This one's tricky because at its core, it's actually good advice. Of course you should be yourself. No one wants to put on a fake persona. But let's be honest, dating also requires a little more thought and self-awareness than just showing up as is. Being yourself doesn't mean you should ignore personal growth or that any behavior is acceptable as long as it's authentic. If you're nervous, don't just say, well, I'm anxious, so I'll spend the whole day just venting about my ex. Being yourself is about showing the best version of you, one that's present, curious, and interested in getting to know this other person. This next one is that love's going to find you when you're not looking. And it sounds so romantic, doesn't it? But it often makes people think that they should just sit back, focus on anything but dating, and somehow a soulmate's going to magically appear. A lot of you will say something like this in the comment section, and I tend to remind you that nobody's parking their stallion in your driveway and coming up to ring your doorbell on a Friday night. You probably need to go out and meet people. And yeah, sure, some people meet the one when they least expect it. But for most people, love takes a little effort. Letting go of desperation is healthy, but if you actually want to meet someone, don't avoid dating altogether. You still have to put yourself out there in front of people. Love is likely to find you when you're open, putting in a bit of effort, and creating opportunities to meet new people. So don't get too hung up on the idea of waiting for fate to deliver love to your doorstep. Looking for someone who checks all your boxes. This advice usually sounds like make a list of everything you want in a partner and don't settle until you find it all. On paper, it seems logical to have standards, and I know a lot of you have a list, but the problem is this list tends to get really, really long and cumbersome, and then you're treating dating like a shopping trip where you refuse to check out until you've got all the items on your list. Real connection often happens when you find someone who checks some of your key boxes, but brings things to the table that you never even thought to even look for. Yeah, know what's important to you, but ditch the checklist and stay open to being surprised. That's the very best, I promise you. Never go to bed angry is a popular one, especially in long-term relationships or marriage. But even in dating, we've heard some version of it. Never leave a disagreement unresolved. But here's the truth. Sometimes you both need a little space to think. Sometimes cooling off for a night or a day or two lets you handle the issue with a clear head. If things get heated, give yourself permission to pause, take a breather, and talk when you're not running on adrenaline. In fact, for a lot of people, conflict makes them just shut down. So taking a step back is sometimes the best thing you can do. You'll both come back to the conversation feeling less defensive and probably a lot more open to resolving things in a healthy way. This is a big E. Opposites attract. Yeah, of course, opposites attract sometimes. But when people repeat this advice, they're usually forgetting to mention that the most successful relationships have some fundamental similarities. Differences can be alluring, for sure, but your core values, your ideas about money, family, and what you want out of life, those need to line up, or you'll be fighting an uphill battle until, like Jack and Jill, you come tumbling down that hill. If someone's values don't align with yours, it's probably not worth pursuing just because you think opposites are exciting. Just save yourself a lot of trouble and look for someone who actually shares your basic outlook on life. Wait X amount of days before texting back or before calling or before asking them out again. The waiting game. Who hasn't been told to play this one at some point? This advice is basically telling you to overthink something as simple as basic communication. If you're interested, just send a text when you feel like it. As long as you're not inundating them with messages while they're not responding, you should be in good shape ignoring this advice. Dating isn't a series of calculated moves. It's a conversation between two people. If you're clicking, a genuine, timely response isn't going to scare them off. And if they're the ones playing games, well, that's a red flag in itself. The right person will know right away, and so will you. This one sets so many people up for disappointment. It sounds lovely, but we aren't living in a rom-com. And the reality is that not everyone experiences love at first sight. Some people take a little longer to warm up or to feel confident about a new relationship. Waiting for someone who's sure right away or someone that you know is perfect for you immediately can keep you from giving someone a real chance because they didn't check all the boxes on date one. Real connection usually grows gradually as you get to know each other. So don't throw in the towel just because you're not head over heels on day one. How many episodes do I have on this, really? Number 9, it's all about confidence. Yeah, confidence is great. It's life-changing, in fact, which is why I have an entire playlist dedicated to confidence. But some people seem to believe that it's all you need, as if you can solve any dating issue by simply being more confident. But real confidence isn't a mask you put on to impress somebody. It's about being comfortable in your own skin and aware of your own value or worth. It's a fantastic tool in life, but in dating, it isn't everything. Kindness, curiosity, being a fantastic listener are also really attractive and very much, well, actually more appreciated. So don't worry if you're not the most confident person in the room. Focus on bringing all of your best self to the table. That's what actually resonates with people. Plenty of Fish is the name of a dating app. I know this well, and it's also advice that you hear almost constantly. There are plenty of fish in the sea. People love to say this like there's an endless supply of matches waiting for you to scoop them up. But let's be real. There isn't an infinite pool of amazing people out there. Just like in our actual, real, legitimate oceans, if we're overfishing the dating pool, eventually it's going to feel shallow. Jumping from one person to the next, constantly waiting for the perfect match or dismissing someone because they didn't use the right fork is only going to wear you out. Instead, try to give each person that you meet a fair chance. They don't have to be your soulmate right away, but good relationships start with curiosity and patience. That initial spark doesn't always hit like a lightning bolt. It can build over time. So instead of expecting each date to impress you instantly, stay open-minded and don't be too quick to write somebody off for minor details. This isn't about endless choices. It's about finding someone worthwhile in the real world with flaws, just like you have flaws. And there you have it, the dating advice everyone loves to repeat, but that you officially have permission to ignore. Let go of the rules and make dating a whole lot more enjoyable and natural. If you enjoyed this, please check out this episode on how to spot the green flags that you might be overlooking. And before you go, give this video a thumbs up. Don't play hard to get with the like button and hit that subscribe button like you're texting it back right away. Thanks so much for being here, and until next time, have a good one.